in the marketing world and you're looking for inspiration, or you're a business leader who wants to understand what good marketing looks like. You're busy. You don't have time to sit around listening to a rambling 3-hour podcast. We get it. This is the Remarkable Marketing Podcast, where we celebrate the marketing rock stars that deliver truly remarkable marketing. And you'll hear short interviews with marketing execs who share stories about the best marketing they've ever done, how it delivered a huge impact, and how they overcame all the challenges to make it happen. If you aspire to be remarkable, you'll walk away with ideas on how to do truly epic marketing, getting right to the content of what you need for busy professionals. This is the Remarkable Marketing Podcast. Now your host, Eric Eden.
Welcome to today's episode. Our guest today is John Hewitt. He is the Hewitt in Jackson Hewitt. He has over 55 years of experience helping people start businesses. He's helped over 1,000 people become millionaires. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Eric. My pleasure.
I think we'd all love to hear about some of the best marketing you've ever done. But before we jump into that, why don't you just share a minute or two about your background? I know it's long. I could spend the whole show going through your achievements, but maybe you could just share a few minutes about who you are and what you're doing today, and then we could jump into your great story.
Okay, 55 years ago, I started working at H&R Block part-time while I was at the University of Buffalo and loved it. 12 years later, I was running 250 H&R Block locations. I loved that. It was 1981. My dad was CFO of a public company. He had bought one of the first Apples by mail, and he liked it better than the mainframe that was running his public company. So he decided we should computerize taxes. So we both left our jobs and built the first tax software for an Apple computer. No one wanted it. And we got lucky and found a company in Virginia Beach called Mel Jackson Tax Service. Mel had died. We bought 6 offices from his widow and changed the name to Jackson Hewitt, went public, and 15 years later sold it for $483 million. Went on to become a $1 billion company with 6,000 locations. So I developed software, then a $1 billion company. Then I did not compete that lasted for 3 years, but it didn't cover Canada because Jackson Hewitt's never gone to Canada. And having grown up in Buffalo, I knew the Canadian tax system. So we opened Liberty Tax in Canada, and within 3 years became one of the 100 top retail franchise chains in Canada. So now I've done it once in the U.S., once in Canada. My non-compete ended in 2000, came back to the United States, and now I had to compete against my own name, my own software, my own system at Jackson Hewitt. And yet we grew faster than them and H&R Block combined. In 12 years, we opened 4,000 locations. Again, the top 100 retail chain. So now I brought in 5,000 franchisees in my career, 2 $500 million companies, sold my stock, and started Loyalty Brands. And at Loyalty Brands, we have 8 different franchisors. So that's my 55 years in a nutshell.
Wow, that is incredible and remarkable. So a lot of the greatness there is in franchise marketing, right? And that's what you're doing with Loyalty Brands. Is that right?
That's correct. It was franchise that really propelled us to grow so exponentially.
So I think with Loyalty Brands in particular, you have a unique approach to franchise marketing. Not all franchise marketing is equal, is my understanding, but clearly you've had success in building it and helping 5,000 people start their own business and helping 1,000 people become millionaires. What is in that unique marketing approach in franchise marketing that's been so successful?
The number one key to my success is that there's 2 major things. One is that when you grow something exponentially, when you're Steve Jobs or Bill Gates or a Henry Block or John Hewitt, you have to have a vision that's fairly accurate. And then you have to convince everyone to buy in. You have to convince your stockholders, your employees, your vendors, your customers, the general public. You have to convince everyone. So I've had that ability to get many people to jump on the bandwagon. And the way that I've done that is, and the second thing is that I always want what's best for every person. And it's not best for every person to join me. But when it is, then I'm going to present a case that's a deal you can't refuse. So the ultimate key is doing what's right for every person.
That makes sense. Everybody gets a prize, right?
Everyone has a place where they can be extraordinary. And when it's with me, that's extra good. But when it's not, God bless you.
And so, how did you help these 5,000 people who wanted to start a business and that started franchises? A lot of them went on and became millionaires. How did you help them become successful with the franchise? What was the formula there?
First of all, as a franchisor, it's my job to give them the best system in the industry. And that includes taking the pulse of the industry and make sure you're up to date with changing times. For example, I described in inventing the first tax software in 1981, being on the cutting edge. So being on the cutting edge is important, but you have to develop the best system. And then, believe it or not, Eric, with all my experience, that if I do my job, your job is to pay attention and follow that system. And you would think if people are going to pay me money and they're going to respect the fact that I know way more than they ever will, then they're going to listen. But in all the over 5,000 people I brought in, not one person's ever listened 100%. So I have to do two things. One is to develop the system, and secondly, every great system is improving. So that includes improving the system yearly. And then I have to just go way out of my way to enforce the system and to get people to follow the system.
Yeah, it's interesting. I remember the story that got made into a movie, The Founder, about McDonald's and how all the McDonald's franchises wanted to do all their own different things in the beginning. And they were like, no, you had to follow the system. So I think that's the key to franchising, is that you develop a great system and people need to follow it.
My 10-year-old grandchild could go to the grocery store and buy some hamburger and buy some buns and some condiments and make a better hamburger than McDonald's, cheaper. McDonald's doesn't have the best hamburger. They have the best system, which includes convenience and cleanliness and location, all sorts of things. That's the key to McDonald's, not the fact that they have the best hamburger at the best.
So I'm curious, signing up thousands of people to run these franchises, what was the marketing that you did that convinced all of those people to sign up for your system?
Our marketing process is pretty simple, that we look for people that want to be self-employed. And then we take them through a series of steps. Are you really meant to be self-employed? Because you think you are, but maybe you're not. Then is this the right industry for you? And then if it is, then is this the right company for you? And I would spend a couple hours with a group every month and say, here's what the industry's like. You can't leave here with any question unanswered. I've been doing this forever, and I know more about this than anyone has. I affectionately call myself the great granddaddy of tax preparation. 55 years, if you can imagine. And there's no one else that's come close to that. Henry Block who developed H&R Block, was only in it for about 25 years. And his son took over. The Blocks are only involved in H&R Block for 40 years. And I've been doing this for 55 years. The key is, are you going to fit it and follow the system? Because I've learned, Eric, doesn't matter how smart you are or educated or experienced, that it only matters how much you follow the system as to how well you're going to do.
It's very interesting. I don't know that most people going into it would realize that's the case.
Human nature is not to follow systems, to rebel and to strike out on their own. So it goes against human nature. It's hard. They say smart people learn from their mistake. I don't know that many smart people, but wise people and franchisees need to learn from the mistakes of others. And that's very difficult. It defies all human nature.
And what made the system so successful that you designed? I'm not looking for the secret sauce, but broadly speaking, what made the system so time true and tested that you developed for tax prep?
Yeah, there really is no secret sauce. And I talk about the differentiators that set us apart from our competitors. And you have to have differentiators. If David had gone onto the field with the same sword and shield and armor as Goliath, there wouldn't be any David and Goliath story. He'd be the 189th guy killed by Goliath. So you have to have differentiators. And we have differentiators that set us apart. When I started Jackson Hewitt, I did 95% of the same thing that H&R Block did, but we did just a little extra to offer better service. And they are objective things that are, they're not, we offer better service.
So you're also a best-selling author. Tell us about your book.
Yeah, I wrote a book too. My goal is to help people improve their lives. Our mission statement is having fun, improving lives. Just 4 words. And I believe that on Monday morning, if you're going to work and you're not looking forward to it, you're going the wrong place. So it's not thank God it's Friday. It's thank God it's Monday. And we're here. Some of us, like myself, are incredibly blessed, and we're here to give back. And God didn't bless us just to go sit in a corner somewhere and do nothing and watch TV or play video games. We're tasked with giving back. And so when we say improving lives in our mission statement, we mean everyone. We mean our customers, our employees, our franchisees, our vendors, our stockholders, and the world around us. And so that's what the book is about. It's about teaching people to improve their lives. And it's called I Compete. I read the book by Sam Walton. It's called Made in America. And they asked him, he said, I've been asked hundreds of times, what makes me different? He said, the only thing I can figure out is that I'm more a competitor than anyone else. I have to win. I'd rather die than lose. And show me a good loser and I'll show you a loser. So that's what the book is about, is competing and always trying to win. And Vince Lombardi said, we go on the field always trying to win, and we have a plan, but we know we're not always going to win. We either are going to win or learn a lesson to help us more likely win in the future. And that's what my book is about.
That's great. And people listening can get a copy of it. Is that right?
Yeah. If you send me an email to john@loyaltybrands.com, then we'll fire one off to you, a free copy of my book.
Awesome. Thanks so much for making that offer. Before we wrap it up, I also just wanted to ask, what advice broadly, based on your extensive experience, could you share with marketers about how to compete and win? If you could share 1 or 2 things with the marketers who are listening, what would you tell them about how to go forward and compete and win?
Again, you have to differentiate. There in the United States, there's about 32 million businesses, and there's about 330 million people. That means there's about 1 business for every 10 people. And that means if you're in an area, 50,000 people, there are 5,000 businesses. And you're not just competing for brand against people in your own industry. 5,000 businesses around you are trying to get the attention of the consumer. So you can't, if everyone else is on TV, you can't be on TV. If everyone's else on radio, you can't be on radio. You have to do things different. And that's why I fell in love long ago with guerrilla marketing. And we have costume characters, and we go business to business, and we offer free samples, and we do things that no one else is doing. And if you do things the same way as everyone else, then you're just going to disappear under the water, and no one's going to see it. You have to find your own niche, your own way of getting attention.
Amazing advice. Thank you so much, John. Thank you for sharing your story and how you did so many great things in your career. We appreciate hearing about that. I encourage everyone to share this episode with your friends. Everyone should hear this story. Thank you very much, John.
Thank you, Eric.
You've been listening to the Remarkable Marketing Podcast. Our passion is to bring you the marketing rock stars who share stories about the best marketing they've done, how it delivered, and how they handled all the challenges that go along with it. And we do it all in 10 minutes. We only ask two things. First, visit the remarkablemarketing.io website for more great insights. Second, this podcast has been brought to you by the next generation social networking app, Workverse. You can download and use the Workverse app for free to build your professional brand, become a paid expert advisor, and discover the best business events to attend. Download the Workverse app today. See you next time on the Remarkable Marketing Podcast.